Hello World on Twist, and thank God I get to do another Raw recapping review. This is for June 1st in Torino, Italy. If you enjoy WWE content like this, please subscribe to the channel. I do a Raw recap every week, and also I do WWE 2K26 content on this channel as well. We just finished the CM Punk Showcase, and we're going to be having My Rise coming out this month. Now let's get into the first segment, which is the Tribal Chief pulling up with Jimmy and Jay. They come down to the ring. Big pop from the crowd. He's showing off the belt that he just retained and the Ulafala. He get down, Torino, acknowledge me. Fans go crazy. Insane pop from them. Roman said he's been waiting to do this. And Jay gets the mic. He's saying, hey, man, it's supposed to be Fatu's first day on the job. When he late, man. Tell that, pop out, man. Come out of here, man. That leads to Jacob Fatu then popping out. And Roman says to him, you know what time it is, man. And Jay's like, yeah, you know what time it is. That leads to Fatu going over there, taking Jay's mic and saying he know what he was getting into, dealing with all these problems. He lost to the Tribal Chief, but not Jay's punk ass. that let him start being looking him in the face, having a little face off over there. But then he says, kids have to see me lose, take a loss. And they saw him keep his word. So he tells Roman, I acknowledge you. Roman Reigns. He gets down, takes a knee. Roman Reigns picks him up. He says, Roman says to Jacob, I know it's weird. I know you don't understand it yet, but I do love you, Jacob. And that leads to Jimmy saying, you know what? We here, man. And if everybody watching, this is a warning shot. The ones. And they all put the ones up. Jacob is the last one to put the ones up, and he gets the little shake with it. And they head out. And then we get into our first match of the night, which is the beginning of the King of the Ring tournament qualifiers. We're gonna have a women's match and a men's match. This is the men's match right now, and it's a fatal four-way, and it's a crazy one. This is a crazy match. We got Penta, the Intercontinental Champion, versus Oba Femi after he just got the match with Brock. Then Solo Sikoa, who's here with Tala Tonga, who's part of his MFT, versus Carmelo Hayes. Penta, Solo, Carmelo, they get in the ring first, and then they show Oba Femi walking down to the ring. He marching, he taped up his elbow, his arm still hurt. As soon as he about to get into the ring, Carmelo Hayes tries to run up. He punched Carmelo down, then he knocked down Penta, then he knocked down Solo. He knocks down everybody in the ring, and then he does the little pose. Before the match even started, I said, yeah, this man's goated. He's goated. They're pushing him to the moon because no dude has ever knocked people down and then aura farmed and got the match going. But then after he aura farms, they all start jumping on him. And then he pushes them off. He gets rid of them. He hits Penta with an uppercut, Carmelo with an uppercut, and then before he tries to get Solo runs from behind and attacks him in the back with a splash, but he no-sells that. Solo now scared, he's scared a little bit, but he tried to throw a Samoan spike, but that gets reversed by Oba. He hits him with a big punch, and he starts fighting him into the outside. Then back in the ring, we get Penta and Carmelo involved. He hits that man with a enziguri kick near the corner, then hits with the delayed drop kick, and it goes for the pin. 1, 2, kick out from Carmelo. Then Penta tries to get over hitting the Penta driver on Carmelo, but Carmelo reverses out of it and then puts him in the corner. He ends up kicking him in the corner, and now with Penta hanging on, he jumps off, fadeaway leg drop to him. Nasty move. Goes for the pin. 1, 2. Penta kicks out of that though. Then Penta and Carmelo both get super kicks onto each other. But Carmelo is the last one. Then he's gonna try to do a springboard crossbody on the Penta, but Penta, big super kick to him in intercepting it, at least with a double down between both of them. Back on the outside, we get Oba throwing Solo Sikoa into the barricade, and then him and Tala Tonga have a little face-off. Oba gets back into the ring after that, gets a double super kick by Oba, but Oba no-sells that hoe, grabs them, double choke slammed him, leading on to a commercial break. Back from the commercial break with now Penta and Carmelo Hayes in the match having a boo, yeah, smacking each other back and forth, but Oba stops their boo, yeah, tries to pick him up for a double choke slam, but Solo runs into the ring, super kick onto Oba, and then Carmelo Hayes hits Oba with a first 48, which is basically a code, and then Penta hits with a super kick. But Oba still going crazy, tries to spear one of them in the corner, but he misses. They got out the way. He spears the corner, and then That leads to Solo and Tala Tonga going to the outside and grabbing Oba Femi and throwing him back and forth into the ring post. After they throw him into the post, then Tala Tonga kicks him over the barricade. That leads to Solo. That leads Penta hitting the Tobe on Hilo on the Solo, which is basically a swanton on him. And then Carmelo hits a Tobe on Hilo on the Penta. He gets him back into the ring. When he gets him back into the ring, Solo gets into the ring and then clothesline Carmelo Hayes. And then he hits a clothesline on the Penta. But then Carmelo gets back up, tries to lands a Hurricanrana on the Solo. And then Penta comes up out of nowhere, lands the Penta driver on the Carmelo Hayes. 1, 2. Solo stops the pin over there. They're having all a triple down over there. But then they cut to the barricade and Oba Femi stands back up. Big clothesline to Tala Tonga. Slaps the chest of Carmelo Hayes in the ring. Get into the ring. Big spine buster on the Penta. Then he goes back outside to Tala Tonga. Picks him up. Back suplex on the table. Get back into the ring. He messed with Solo Sikoa. Get the throw back suplex. Hit that man with the fall from grace. 1, 2, 3. Oba gets a 5-star. That was a 5-star match. Me describing it is not as insane. It's not as well as you watching it. You gotta watch this match. Everybody went crazy, and the fact that Oba is just dominant after getting whooped on Sunday, insane. But that leads on to him doing a little promo afterwards, and he says, Brock asked me, am I able to take an ass whooping? Am I able to, what am I going to do without the ass whooping? What am I going to be after taking 7 F5s? He said, I'm out here standing, I'm getting dubs, and I took your best shot, and I'm still here. He says, hey, it's 1-1, and I'm going to see you down the line. But right now, he going to win King of the Ring. And after that, I believe him. Then we get down to the next segment. We have interview / promo with Kathy Kelly interviewing the new Intercontinental Champion, Sol Ruka. She pops up. Kathy asks her, can you believe you would be able to win a belt in your first month or so? And Sol's like, it's a dream come true. She always believed in herself, but most importantly, the WWE Universe believed in her as well. That leads to a big pop with the crowd. She just says grazie, Italian for the people, and then she gives props to Becky. Says, for giving her a chance and to letting her be able to prove that she belongs to be here. She's really happy that she proved her wrong, and it's not just her saying it; it's everybody else saying it. A little callback on Becky's shtick, and then says, but the work is just getting started in WWE, and she says she will be a fighting champion, and she says, hey, if you want to underestimate her. You gonna end up just like Becky. Your soul gonna get snatched. And then big celebration pyro for Soul. Surprisingly, Becky ain't getting involved with that, but Soul got to get her little flowers in. Cool. I can't wait to see what's going on next with Soul. Backstage, they show a segment of what happened at Clash in Italy after the show. And it was Roman and Cody having a little face-off. And they then cuts to Roman with Jay and Jimmy watching it backstage. And, he says, he tells Jay, hey, man, I'm gonna need you to watch Fatu, man. He gonna need tough love to really lock in with the group. But you see, you got this belt. He has the World Heavyweight belt. So you won this belt, but I want you to go get that Cody belt. I need you to win that King of the Ring, man. Get that belt off of him. And he wants him to level up so they can be dual champions. And he tells Jimmy when Jay walks away that, hey, don't help him, man. He need to do this all by himself. Then we get to our second match of the night, and it is Rey Mysterio with the pants. They really might be back for real. I'm sorry. I just love the pants. They tough. With Dragon Lee versus Rusev and Ego Ethan Page. At first, to start the matchup was Dragon Lee and Ethan Page, right? But Ethan Page tries to get a tie-up with him back and forth, and he can't get it. He gets upset and tags in Rusev. That leads into them finally being able to get into a tie-up. Rusev powers that man into the corner. Big stumps on that man. And he puts his neck on the rope, stands on it, choking that man up. He tags in Ego. I call Ethan Page Ego in these videos. He tags in Ego, tries to hit, Ego gets in the ring, tries to hit Dragon Lee with a power bomb, but Dragon Lee reverses out of that into a Hurricanrana. Then Dragon Lee gets him to the corner, kicks him while jumping over the apron, and then does a jump inside the ring, drop kick through the apron, and then he goes to the other side and runs all the way down to him seated, running drop kick right there. 1, 2, kick out from Ego. He doesn't go for that. Then that leads to a Irish whip situation back and forth between Dragon Lee and Ethan Page, which leads to Ethan Page tagging in Rusev without Lee knowing. Dragon Lee hits him with a German suplex on the Ethan on the ego, and then hits a super kick on him, and then tries to but then Rusev tries to get in, try to fight from behind, but Dragon Lee reverses out of that and it hits a roll up on the Rusev, but Rusev kicks out of it. After that sequence, Dragon Lee points at Ray. He said, "Y'all want me to tag him in? Y'all want me to tag him in?" He about to tag him in, but Ego pulls down his legs. It leads to the distraction with Rusev splashing Dragon Lee in the corner and then picking him up and then spin him around for a big slam right there. And that's where we get to the commercial break. Back from the commercial break with Rusev and Ego trying to hit a double team move on the Dragon Lee. They Irish whip him, but he dodges out of it, which leads to Ego getting out the ring. Then he pulls the rope on the Rusev to have to stop him out of there. Then he tries, that means lay him down on the ground. He's trying to crawl over to get the tag over to Rey Mysterio, but Ethan Page stops it. He grabs his leg, tags in Rusev. He stumps on Dragon Lee while he's down on the ground. And then he goes over to Rey Mysterio and antagonize him and slaps the taste out of his mouth. At least the Rey trying to get into the ring. You can't do that. The referee stops him. And then that leads to them jumping Dragon Lee on the, while the referee's distracted. Then Rusev tries to Irish whip Dragon Lee to their corner, but Dragon Lee ends up punching Ethan Page, and they have a back and forth of trying to stop him getting the tag. He tries to jump over to get the tag, but he catches him. Dragon Lee gets out of it. Big super kick under him. And know what that means. It's time for the hot tag between Rusev and Lee. Ray gets into the ring. Big twirling Hurricanrana on the Ego, and then he goes to the apron. He kicks Ego in the face, goes to the top rope, hits him with a big senton, and then hits him with a springboard crossbody. Ray done hit the Fountain Youth. 1, 2, kick out from Ego. And Ray's still mad about Rusev slapping him. He runs over to the corner, punches him in the face, but that gives Ego the advantage, hit a big boot onto him, and then that leads to the Rusev getting to the ring. They try to hit a double Irish whip on the Ray, but Ray finds out of it. Hits a assisted Hurricanrana by Ethan Page because he grabs him in a bulldog position, puts him on a Rusev. He hits him with the Rana outside the ring. Then that leads to Ray hitting the low kick to Ethan Page to set up the 619. He tried to hit the 619, but Rusev ends up grabbing Ray's legs. That leads to Dragon Lee then kicking Rusev on the apron, but then Ethan Page grabs Ray and throws him into Dragon Lee, turns it into a roll-up. 1, 2, kick out from Ray though. Rey Mysterio tries to hit a Hurricanrana again on the Ethan Page, but he catches him this time, flips him over, turns it into a Boston Crab, but Dragon Lee gets into the ring. Big super kick to Ethan. Then Rusev tries to get involved, but he hits Rusev with a Hurricanrana into Ethan Page. Then he hits him with a big knee on the Rusev. Rusev goes outside the ring, hits that man with the suicide dive. Ray ends up kicking Ethan Page to the rope. 619. 1, 2, 3. Big dub for Ray and Dragon Lee. Good tag team match overall. Good back and forth. I give that match a 4 stars. This is a basic. This is what you call a good tag team match. Wasn't too many big frills into it, but I just love to see Rey Mysterio go crazy, especially in the baggy pants. Then let's move on to the last segment of this part 1. Yes, this is the last segment of part 1. New to this channel, I do my Raw recaps reviews in part 1s and part 2s. And we get off with Adam Pearce talking to Penta after his match, telling him, it's fine, you still the IC champ. And next week, I'm finna have you going against Ray, man. And he's like, yes, sir, let's get to it. And then LA Knight walks up and says, don't go away yet. And he asks him, why are you helping the Bloodline? You up there backstage doing boss calls for him and everything. He said, hey, are you feeling Uzi right now? And Adam Pearce is like, no, I'm not feeling Uzi. He says, I'm just dealing with the champion. He's the champion. And he was basically giving base to LA Knight. He said, hold on now. You ain't never talked to me this way ever. You ain't talked to me the way until Roman started running things around here. So what's going on? Adam Pearce is like, I'm just trying to keep the Bloodline in line. But as he's doing, he's holding up a 1. He said, LA Knight says, you holding up a 1? You make me sick. That is the end of part 1. If you enjoyed the video, please like it and subscribe to the channel so you can see part 2, man. Remember, y'all, Jesus loves you. Watch part 2.